So right now, GLP-1 weight loss injections is the craze on the internet. It's estimated that 10% of the population across the UK and the US is taking a GLP-1 weight loss injection. And it's even come out very recently that Serena Williams, one of the most profound female athletes of all time, is now endorsing a GLP-1 weight loss injection. But here's what you need to know, not just about that, but about everything when it comes to GLP-1 weight loss injections, whether you should take them, where they're good, where they're extremely bad, the side effects, and how to come off of GLP-1 to make sure you don't regain all of your lost weight. Let's address the elephant in the room. Serena Williams, someone who's always promoted strength, someone who's always been extremely disciplined, somebody who's been a role model figure for not just women worldwide, but everyone worldwide, being the top 1% of the top 1%, winning 20 plus Grand Slams and being a huge inspiration to people worldwide. Her brand was built on discipline. And I find it very hard to believe that all of a sudden, after, even an interview saying how dieting's easy and that she's super disciplined, she can't control her nutrition now. And all of a sudden, she has to take a GLP-1 just to lose 31 pounds. And she couldn't do it because all of a sudden her discipline has fallen down the toilet. I find that hard to believe. And the reason even more so that I do is it's pretty convenient. Her husband is on the board and is an investor in the company that she's promoting as a weight loss injection. And therefore, he would stand to make millions by her endorsing the product. So is it that she suddenly can't control nutrition, or is it that her husband's an investor? I'll let you decide that one for yourself. But another thing to consider with GLP-1 and weight loss injections, and why it's something you should always be mindful of doing prior. Number one, a huge risk this is done in studies everywhere, is extreme caloric restriction. So if you have way too low calories, you have extreme health complications you can run into, and you lose muscle tissue because you're not fueling your body to maintain muscle. You're burning into muscle as energy because you don't have enough calories. So what's going to happen? You get the risk of osteoporosis, the loss in bone density, loss in strength, joint pain, slower metabolism, meaning you can regain the weight quite fast after losing it all. Then another thing is what they call, quote unquote, Ozempic face. When you get saggy in the eyes, you have a hollow look to your face, wrinkly, and you look drawn, right? So that's something that I suppose most women don't want, right? And it's something you have to be careful of. Then the next one, and this is more common, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. These are all more common side effects, also shown in studies from Harvard Health. And then there's more serious side effects. In some people, blindness. In some people, extreme nausea, fainting, etc. So it's important to be aware of this. Now, can a GLP-1 weight loss injection have its place? Yes. There is people out there that can't really move due to their weight. They're extremely overweight, and if they don't have a fast solution, they could be at extreme health risk. For those guys, a GLP-1 injection could be useful, and for people with diabetes. Now, to highlight to what GLP-1 does, it's the world's most powerful appetite suppressant, which means when you have GLP-1 weight loss injection, you don't really eat, or you don't want to eat, which does make it awkward at social events. If you're at family Christmas dinner and you're on Ozempic, or you're on Mounjaro, or you're on Roe, which is the one that Serena Williams is promoting, it's going to get pretty awkward when you're having a stick of broccoli and your whole family's having Christmas dinner, or whatever you celebrate, or whatever fucking other dinner you're gonna have, right? Going out for social events with friends, everyone's getting a pizza and you're getting a bloody starter and you're not even nibbling the edges of it. So it's important to recognize. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, but I want the weight loss. What's my solution? I'm going to teach you how to run, or how you can mimic GLP-1 naturally, so you don't have to take a supplement, or you don't have to take a GLP-1 weight loss injection. So it's a hormone in the body, GLP-1, we can mimic it naturally. Again, is it going to be perfectly as powerful As a weight loss injection, no, but that's a good thing because it means you're not having the side effects, extreme calorie restriction. And also when you come off of GLP-1 and your appetite goes back to normal, what the fuck are you going to do? You're going to regain all of your lost weight. Now, the first thing is high protein. You know, protein is satiating. It keeps us fuller for longer. It's harder for the body to digest. So when we have high protein diets, we reduce appetite significantly. Number two, caffeine. Moderate amount, you know, you don't want to go too overboard, but if you can have strategically placed caffeine throughout the day, it means you're going to reduce appetite. It's a natural appetite suppressant. You're going to reduce appetite significantly. Only note is try to avoid having it within 8 hours of going to sleep. It has a half-life of 8 to 10 hours. So if you have, you know, a coffee at 6 and you go to bed at 10, you'll stop the release of sleep hormones, which will help you sleep better. Which drifts me onto the next one, which is sleep. Sleep is probably the most powerful appetite suppressant. When you're sleep deprived, exhausted, lethargic, tired, you wake up in the morning and you're fucking hungry. I know I am. So if I lack sleep, I know I'm going to be more hungry the next day. Then my adherence to nutrition dips, my discipline dips, and instead of having the right nutrition, I grab a Snicker bar from the shop because I'm knackered and I can't be asked to cook, right? So that's a really, really important one, and one that people should optimize. And I could go through how to specifically place your protein or how many specific hours to get with sleep and how to optimize it. But I'm just going to give you some quick fire tips just because I've done videos on these in the past. How much protein? Roughly 0.8 to 1.2 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So take your pounds of body weight. If I'm 180 pounds, 180 times 0.8 to 1.2, it'll be in the realm of 170 to 190 grams of protein. For sleep, I'm gonna have 7 to 9 hours of a high quality. Quick tip, set a reverse alarm in the evening, which goes off as an accountability reminder. Phone switch off, you know, start to dewind because the blue light from your phone blocks the release of sleep hormones. And if you want to improve sleep, contrary to popular belief, you can have a high carbohydrate meal 2-3 hours pre-bed. And what that's going to do is release more tryptophan in the brain, which is a precursor to serotonin and melatonin, which is your sleep hormones. So you don't want it too close to bed to the point you're still digesting, because that will ruin sleep. But if you have a high carbohydrate and high protein, even a meal 2-3 hours pre-bed, you will sleep considerably better. And then with caffeine, block it off around 8 to 10 hours pre-bed. So for me, if I go to bed at 10, I'm going to block it off at around 2 p.m. on a good day. But that's how you can naturally mimic GLP-1. And there is other strategies and tactics and ways, but they're the 3 most powerful appetite suppressants that are a lot more natural that you can do day to day. It's gonna help you control your calorie intake, but not to the point where you get crazy side effects. But it's not gonna be to the point as well where you're risking muscle tissue loss. If you want to take a GLP-1 because you want to get in good shape, you probably don't want to lose muscle because you're gonna look skinny fat. You want to retain muscle, which means you want to have enough appetite to still eat food, right? And if you don't, your physique is probably going to go too far gone. And then you're going to have to fight to get your muscle back. And then you're going to end up back at square one. And it just becomes almost burning money, setting it light. So that's my 50 pence on GLP-1 injections and how you can mimic it a lot more naturally. And if there's any things you want me to break down or go into more detail, go further into, you can just look at the comment section, write in whatever, and I'll touch on it in another video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you soon.